man, I really miss saying that. So, okay, this is a Disney one. I have a slight problem with the whole idea that Belle from Beauty and the Beast is suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, because she's not. Okay, I looked into it. Stockholm Syndrome, I'm looking at my computer right now, uh, takes days, weeks, months, or even years to go through, okay? All right, so here's two big reasons why Belle couldn't have Stockholm Syndrome, okay? Number one, this whole movie, believe me, takes place in the course of about 2 days. How do I know this? So I went and I studied each scene specifically, and I looked based on how Maurice travels back and forth, and because he's kind of the underlying, like, yeah, this guy is doing this type of factor going on. Okay, he leaves. All right, he leaves his house, and he leaves Belle. All right, on day one, he goes into the forest. It's very, very dark. We notice because it's spoopy, so it's very dark. Okay, so he leaves, he goes to the very dark forest like an idiot, because he's like, oh, you gotta go this way and not into the happy part of the forest. And even Philippe is like, bruh, no. But he has to follow anyway. So he goes into the dark forest. That's where we, I think, mistake it for being dark, nighttime. It's not night, it's still the day. We know this because Philippe comes running back to Belle and is like, oh my gosh, help, right? So when Philippe comes back, it's still day. It's the same day, and we know it's the same day because Belle is just singing her song after having been bombarded by Gaston. That's all the same day, okay? And so she goes and rides off to go save her dad. Now, when she gets to the castle, which we know doesn't take that long, it maybe takes a couple hours at most. And even then, I don't think it really even takes that long. But anyway, we'll just say it takes a couple hours, okay? She gets there, all right? Honestly, I don't even like saying it takes a couple hours. But Maurice is dumb and he gets lost by himself, so whatever. But anyway, so she gets there, right? And Maurice gets taken back. When he gets back to the village, it is officially nighttime. We know this because the song Gaston takes place in the night. We know that because Maurice gets kicked out and it's night. Of course, when you zoom into it all, it's still kind of darker and it's nighttime too. So that's night. That ends the first day, is Maurice deciding he's going to go off and look for his daughter by himself. Okay, that's day one. So, okay, now we move on to like day two and whatnot. Okay, Belle at this point, and this is reason number two, I'm going to go ahead and interrupt my reason number one to bring up reason number two. Belle at this point has run away from the Beast in the middle of the night. She runs from the Beast because he yells at her after she finally comes out of her room and goes into the West Wing, which he told her not to go into. She runs out of the whole castle. I don't know if he actually comes after her at first or not, because he kind of just stands there at his flower, like, upset. So it's possible he did not run after her at all until maybe he looked in the mirror, saw she was in trouble, something like that. That's totally possible. So we don't know when exactly he ran after her. But we do know it is still nighttime. She runs into the forest because she just had dinner. That's how we know. And so she runs into the forest. She gets attacked by wolves. She's like, oh my gosh, now my hair is down. I look so pretty. But so the Beast finally comes after her, saves her. And now he's lying there on the ground, dying practically from an arm wound. That part, okay. But he's clearly out of commission. She has plenty of time to keep running the other way and going home. She doesn't. She makes a choice right then and there that she's going to stay and save him. Now, some people might say, oh, well, this is the first sign of Stockholm Syndrome. Okay, it has been literally a day, And she wasn't even there all day. She was there for like maybe half the day, if that. All right. Not even probably that, because the first thing he asks her if she wants is dinner after giving her a tour of the place. So I really doubt it was even half a day. Okay. She's not been there for even one day, and she's already choosing to save him. That's not Stockholm Syndrome. That right there is just Belle. That's who she is. She doesn't want to see somebody else suffer while she gets away into safety, especially after he saved her. Okay? And so that's that, and she decides to go back with him, and she says she'll stay with him, you know, and she's made that choice. Okay, that's fine. That is my reason number 2. So back to my reason number 1. So that happens, okay? She's staying there. And then the whole screen, all the lights and stuff kind of, I think that's what disorients us the most. It brightens up as we see the love and stuff grow and progress, and we see things get happier and happier. Well, that's not necessarily representing days and nights, okay? Because it just doesn't really work that way. And there's when Maurice goes back to get Belle, he gets lost, right? And he's out there for long enough that he starts getting sick. Okay. First off, how the heck he got so lost, I'm not really exactly sure, but I do know that it does make some sense since he was running from wolves the first time and just happened upon the castle. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back real quick, because it has been a long time since I wrote this down on a piece of paper and mapped all this out. And I'm going to go remind myself what comes next. So hold on. Okay, I've got this. So, Maurice is kicked out. Okay, let's say he goes back home to gather supplies, because we know he's gathered at least something. Although, if I think about it, I don't know that he really even has anything when he's out on his own. So he may have just left, honestly. He may have left in the night. And more than likely, he did. If he's a concerned father, he probably did leave as soon as he either gathered his things or was kicked out. He probably left during the night. So, taking that into account. Now, there is a confusion of there being so much snow. But if you look at the end of Gaston's number, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but there should be snow falling at the end of the night. I'm pretty sure. I have not seen the animated movie in a while. I am going off of the Broadway a little bit just to kind of keep things in order. I don't know what word I was trying to use there either. But anyway, so let's just say he leaves during the night, okay? Now we got to go back to Beauty and the Beast castle real quick. So the next day, okay, they like to make it seem like it's taking progress over days and days and days or whatnot. I really don't see that happening, because we don't see any more dinners. We see a happy breakfast, okay, and then we see them playing in the snow, okay, and then we see them her saying, I'll redo the dinner with you after, everybody's like, oh, human again, yay, we have a chance, we're cleaning the castle now. And they read the book together in the library, and he presents her with the library. Swap those two. Anyway, so we see all that stuff happen. That is technically the same day. We can kind of tell based on the clothing, but more importantly, we can tell based on the events process and the fact that we never see them do another dinner until, or anything like that until that moment. So when she goes out dancing, with him, there's that whole scene, and it's very nice and lovely and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then at the end of that, he's like, here's my magic mirror. She's like, okay, let me see my dad. Oh my gosh, he's dying in the forest because he doesn't know directions and he's been stuck out there all day. and possibly all night. So now, all right, she runs off to go save him. She gets him. She takes him home. Now we see LeFou covered up as a snowman, so it makes it seem like a lot of time has passed, but that's not necessarily the case, because we already saw at the end of Gaston it was snowing. And yes, he did tell him to wait there, say in the morning, in the afternoon sometime. Okay, either way, it is obviously, when I say it takes place over 2 days, I mean her capture, which wasn't really much of a capture. The only person that the Beast captured was Maurice, and she volunteered herself to take his place. So technically he didn't really capture her, but she did replace her father, so he didn't take that as it is, whatever you want. So she wasn't, while she was a prisoner, she was also not treated as a prisoner, and I think honestly that too has to do with why it's not Stockholm Syndrome, because usually, from what I know of it, they're usually like mistreated or something like that. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case. So looking from that, okay, he sticks LeFou there. LeFou gets covered up as a snowman. We are now on a third day, because we see this daytime and whatnot, and we do make it back to that. That's another thing, when nighttime comes and whatnot, although I will say, nah, whatever. Anyway, it's been a while since I watched the actual movie. Probably should have done that before I made this, but it's fine. I don't really like the movie very much, because it leaves too many things confused. But that's not the point. So, okay. Honestly, anything after her 2 days of being captured doesn't really matter day-wise, because one, she's not there anymore, and so obvious reasons she's not being captured anymore. She does go back to save him because she's fallen for him, but not because of Stockholm Syndrome, because it just doesn't work. So that's honestly my main 2 cents. I did look up some more about it, and I found a site that says like 7 reasons it's not, and I found some other stuff too. And this thing says that there's 3 central characteristics for having Stockholm Syndrome and recognizing it. 1, the hostages have negative feelings about police or other authorities, which she does not. I mean, yeah, she doesn't like Gaston, but she never did, so. And then 2, hostages have positive feelings toward their captors. Okay, technically she was never captured, but you can look at that as that. I think that was the one that she mainly kind of had to argue for, even though it didn't really work. And then captors developed positive feelings towards the hostages. Now, I didn't really understand necessarily, and then there was some more stuff too, what that had to do with it, but they very kindly put a little Spark Notes version. While I did read the full thing, it's easier to video for a Spark Notes. So Belle's not taken hostage, as I already mentioned, and then she does not change her negative attitude toward the Beast until he starts acting like a normal human and kind. Well, I say like a normal human, until he starts acting kind anyway. He's still kind of obviously he's like trying to drink the soup and whatever, so, or porridge, I'm sorry, it's probably porridge. Anyway, so then when Belle is released from the deal, she goes. She does not decide to stay and just be like, my dad, whatever. She, leaves, and then she doesn't bring her dad back to the castle. She takes him home. She goes home. She's not coming back until she realizes that Gaston's about to kill him. Of course, it says she doesn't have negative feelings toward her rescuers because she didn't have any rescuers. I don't know if you can really count that too much, but that I think just kind of reiterates the fact that she left of her own free will, and a Stockholm Syndrome person wouldn't necessarily do that. This is based on what I'm reading. Yeah, and it says The story would exemplify Stockholm Syndrome only if Belle sympathized with Gaston and the townspeople after Gaston threatens her, harasses her father, locks her and her father in the basement, and then Belle exhibits negative feelings towards Chip, who's trying to rescue her. That would have been Stockholm Syndrome, but that obviously couldn't have happened because unless, you know, he had kept coming back, had actually been able to keep them in the basement and Chip hadn't come until much, much later, and it was like at least a week. I mean, it says days, weeks, months, even years. 1.5, not even half a day with locked up with the beast, and even then she's not really locked up. She has free range of the entire castle and castle grounds. She's just not allowed to leave, supposedly. But like, I mean, come on. She's not really a prisoner, and they say that. They treat her well. They dance around, give her amazing foods and stuff. They don't mistreat her. They don't give her bread and water, as Cogsworth once mentioned. You know, she's got like all this stuff, and they want her to feel like a guest. That's not Stockholm Syndrome. So hopefully this convinces you, but if it doesn't, leave in the comments below why you think still, even after all this, that it is in fact Stockholm Syndrome. So thanks, y'all. That was dumb. Bye.